How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my series with my lovely boyfriend.
Hello.
Who smells like pineapple at the moment, where I show him Marvel Rivals character designs for him to analyze from an artistic perspective. Now, he is a comic artist, he is an art teacher, he's got a lot of insight, and I've learned a lot since we started doing this. And today...
This thing smells like pineapple. No context at all.
I'm not going to give them context. You smell like pineapple.
I'm very moisturized. And that's all the context you get.
Anyway, last time we did Rocket, and this time we're doing... Daredevil.
Ooh. He devils. He dares. He has cheeks to spare.
Daredevil. Now, Daredevil is one of the biggest departures from the comics design because this is a Matt Murdock who is currently involved in like the Chinese mythology stuff because his home universe fell apart. And
I hate it when that happens.
He is currently possessed by the power of a being called the Beast. And is the leader of one of the heavenly cities of the Chinese mythology side of Marvel.
Weird.
Right?
Also, why did they put all that violet just to have his hair show out behind it? They're really throwing me off because the hair is super orange.
He's Irish. Give him a break.
I didn't know, but they've done the full mask before, you know, like it covers everything.
Uh-huh.
I think they could have just done that.
Yeah, they could have.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Now he just has an orange mullet. Business in the front, party in the back. But yeah, it's like, it's really throwing me off that he's so purple. Because, you know, usually his iconic look is like red, the Daredevil, you know, like literal Satan devil.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, toning it down with a bunch of purples makes it looks a little more fancy, for sure, because it's kind of metallic and iridescent. But it's very different. Even the horns I thought would normally have been like the same color treatment. They're much brighter. Along with a little bit of the logo and some other things.
Oh yeah, his logo is pink.
And then you just have like a yellow. Not even an orange yellow, just yellow.
Bright yellow, yeah, mustard yellow.
He almost has a CMYK thing going on because it's like magenta, yellow, and then I see a little bit of the gray is getting kind of bluish to me. Especially because you can see it on like the leg straps. The leg straps are very violet, so they look like they're brown. Mm-hmm. But then the cold gray is very bluish. Well, especially with all the painterly marks on it. Huh. And like they're going, I can see the Chinese influence with like the way the armor is done a bit more like a warrior, like leather armor thing going on. It's not very heavy though. It's just like slightly.
There is a certain comedy to how he went with all this fancy Chinese martial artist get up and he's still got the DD on his chest. Yeah.
I mean, I think it could make it work. I just think that the cheeks. But like this, it's simple, so I feel like it doesn't. It's trying not to stray too far from the iconic look, but it has to stray far enough to be a different Daredevil.
Yeah.
He looks more like an enforcer though, than a vigilante. You know.
Yeah. Well, he is a little bit. He's in charge of, I think it's the 8th Heavenly City? I'm not sure. I haven't done a deep dive into his lore.
But, you know, I remember mostly from the movies that came out. I thought those were very fun.
Did he appear in the Elektra movie? Or just in the Daredevil movie?
Oh, gosh. You know, I can't remember what was in the Elektra movie. No one remembers what was in the Elektra movie. Elektra was in it, and that's the most we can confirm. I remember liking them, though. I don't know if they did very well, but I thought they were kind of fun.
I think Daredevil did well, but Electro was a flop.
Yeah, it was a flop. I liked it though, but it's neither here nor there. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen either of them that I can't form a solid opinion on them other than how I felt at the time that I watched them. I do like the layering though, like kind of like the way that there's like this hoop underneath, so that the kind of whole upper piece feels pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like it all feels very put together. Like all this fits together, and it looks like a uniform. It doesn't feel disjointed.
The problem a lot of people have with it is that it's a great design. It's just not a great Daredevil design. Is that how you're feeling?
I think that's what I am feeling. Like I feel like it's a pretty solid design, but it lacks identity. Like to me, this looks like like if you put like 20 of them out there, this is the kind of outfit I would expect on like a goon or minion kind of outfit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he needs to look tough and enforcer like, but it doesn't look very distinct. And what's so nice about the original design is its simplicity, is that it is like, and it's going for both versions of the idea of like Daredevil, is in like the literal devil, but also in like the term of someone who's very daring and able to do feats that would scare or terrify other people because they're dangerous and they're hard to do.
Uh-huh.
And so, you think about the I feel like Daredevil outfit, if you're going to mess around with it, should have athleticism, should have daring, should feel adventurous. This doesn't feel that way. It feels very like, it's an enforcer, he's tough, hurrah, warrior. And I'm like, those aren't really themes that go with the original Daredevil idea.
Yeah.
Daredevil is even also about subverting expectations, because he really is a disabled person. He is blind.
Speaking of, I'm going to interrupt. Well, no, I'll tell you after.
You don't know.
Yeah, go on.
But he's blind, and it's like it's one of the few blind characters. Like it's really cool, and they play into his disability as like, okay, how does he now have to interact with the world, especially if he's going to be putting himself in dangerous situations, trying to fight crime and evildoers and the whole superhero shtick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've had a lot of fun and interesting ideas with that throughout the years, And they don't do it in the, he actually sees either. They do it in the, he can sense vibrations, or he doesn't sense the world through like color or anything. It's through texture and shape, and it's very interesting to me, at least to me, that they stuck with that, which is why I really wish with Hawkeye, they had stuck with some of him, because I think he has partial hearing disability. I don't remember if it's totally deaf, but it is like a hearing disability, and I think they could have kept that. It could have been interesting. They could have fun with that.
He does have hearing aids in the MCU Hawkeye series.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that at least.
But like when you have when you talk about able-bodied character versus disabled-bodied characters, there's so few representations that every single one of them is so important. We need more of them, but the ones that are very popular are more important because they're so rare.
A lot of people don't view him this way, but Edward Elric is physically disabled. Mm-hmm. Like he is a double amputee, and Arakawa did research into the hardships and struggles that amputees have, to the degree that she gave him phantom pains.
Yeah.
And like, he is an excellent example, and more people need to do it that well.
Yeah, and it also comes up a lot too of like when he's trying to move, like sometimes his limbs are too heavy, sometimes they're too light, sometimes they're not the right length, and it's causing him like more difficulty in moving around.
Uh-huh.
And like he's a very go-getter kid with a lot of ambition, so like this is a very hard thing for him to struggle around. Like he sometimes gets very frustrated with like the fact that he can't do as much as he wishes he could. I think there's also a few scenes, like one, he has to wear a lot of layers because if it's too hot, he'll get burned. Because they're made of metal. And the opposite too is they were so cold they quit working.
Yep.
And those are just like the kind of things that would happen with someone who has a disability with a loss of limb. Is like, maybe there's a surface that's too slippery, or they grow, or the socket doesn't fit right, or some other myriad of options that is going to make it another hurdle that doesn't happen when you're able-bodied.
Yep.
But anyway, you're going to tell me a factoid that you wouldn't want to interrupt me for.
Speaking of able-bodied, so you know how most of the characters will look at the camera when you turn them until they do their animations? Matt doesn't. He turns his ear to listen to you.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't it? It's such a nice little detail.
But yeah, I don't hate the design by any means. I really like it. But I just love the bright fire red. And that's kind of interesting because bright red is a symbol of good luck and stuff in Chinese culture. So it's not like that color of red would be antithetical to the whole outfit,
Yeah.
So I'm not really a fan of the violet. So I hope there's some more red Daredevils in the upcoming.
There are a couple, including one of his recolors.
Yeah, I was thinking as far as trimming and the way thing is separated is there's a lot of bands with the belts and things around the kneecaps and around the waist and stuff, but most of them are really low value. So there are a lot of repetition of line, but they're really low value. So the overall read of him is just in sections of violet and gray.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of distinction. But I do like what they have done with a little bit of rhythms and repetitions they do have, because the yellow is really high contrast. There's this nice repetition of the rivets across the shoulders. There's a nice repetition of the buckles on the belts that actually kind of cinch the waist in. And there's similar kind of the yellow is even on the legs too. It's 1, 2, 3 on the arms, 1, 2, 3, and there's kind of a fourth one by the time you get to the end. That kind of leads you around the outfit really nicely. It's even more dense on the sides of his arms and his hips too, and just on the ends of the shoulders. So it's really it's really patterned really well. I kind of wish they had saved some of this for a character whose theme might have fit this a little better, or maybe just went full bright red, because they could have maybe did bright red with a little bit of subtle gold trim, and then the rest of it could have been more of a leather or realistic, not realistic, something a little more earthy. But I guess it might supposed to be his future too, so.
No, this is one of the ones from the present.
From the present? They put him in iridescent armor in the present?
Yep.
Okay, now I have some questions. But I think bright red with the warm leather and gold shiny accents would have looked really nice, and kept the same model, but probably would have looked a little more Daredevil-ish. But the design is good, and I think the way it's drawn is good. I think it's just the violet that's a little bit of an odd choice.
Yeah.
I also still do think the violet looks pretty bad on the bright orange hair, because it's the only orange bit on the whole of everything. So when it finally does come into view, you're just like, ooh, orange. Because everything else is so harmonious, Because the skin tone is not really in contrast to the violet, because to me it feels kind of pinkish anyway. But the orange is definitely very far away from the the violet spectrum, which is closer to blue and stuff. The orange is way over on this other side of the color wheel. And the yellow is more like a direct opposite to me. But it's also, the yellow's supposed to contrast, so it looks better to me than the random orange on the back of his head, which is not where I would put a focal color, But yeah. I can see they're trying to do some of the spirals and stuff on the helmet, make it look a little more fancy. I do like the kind of honeycomb, not honeycomb pattern. I'm not sure what to call that shape. But it's a little bit like a hexagon, but then they group them into threes.
Yeah.
Because it's on the back, too. You can see it a lot better there.
All I can see is dick and balls.
You would.
Now I can't unsee it. Damn it.
Well, anyway, I still thought it was kind of neat because I like the larger scale of that pattern. Because, you know, like pretty much, I don't know, I think just because. I mean, it could have been small scale because there's not really any contrasting patterns. But I like that they kept it all, like, large and in charge.
That's what she said.
Because, yeah, it's used a lot throughout the outfit. Yeah, I guess I don't know if I have much more to say on it. I think it's kind of with the people on this one. It's not very Daredevil. It's very nice, but it's not very, you know, Daredevil. I expect like a bright red, you know, menace to come through, not a fuchsia, iridescent, pretty boy.
Well, he's got 4 recolors. So are you ready for this?
Right.
For starters, here's his default recolor, which is based on his color scheme from his debut in the comics.
Wow.
Where he had a red torso and yellow everything else.
See, that red would have looked good, though, if they had done it on the other outfit.
Yeah, this is a good red.
Yeah. Man, that is very yellow, though. The way the belt's cut under, too, is because they kept those darker red, is really throwing me a little. Because it makes him look like he has almost like,
Stockings.
It's got like that silhouette of like it reminds me of like a shirt or something that's cut too short almost.
Uh-huh.
So it's got kind of like that, and then he's got like garters, and then he's like buck naked yellow, you know. So it just kind of reminds me of like the silhouette is saying summer fit, even though everything else is armor. I like it from the like from here up though, like that looks nice. I mean, look at that. His red hair doesn't really contrast as bad, although I think they made it redder.
They did, yeah. It's the same color as his horns.
Did he have contrasting horn colors in the original? I guess they probably would make sense if he did.
I don't know.
I think like yellow would kind of look weird.
I think it was just a yellow headset with mask.
I just realized how it cuts the butt on when it's all yellow.
Mustard butt.
Yeah, this is one that in this color scheme probably would have benefited from some kind of skirt, which is what it's called in armor too, is having a skirt through the bottom. You like chainmail or something.
Yeah. As it is, it looks like fishnet stockings.
But other than the kind of the weird cut of the shaping there, I do like the colors that and how they're used pretty well. Like it looks nice on the shoulders and stuff. Looks very golden, where it should too. Because they couldn't go duller yellow, because if they did, it would just go straight mustard. So I think they did pretty well with what they had, and the stuff is shiny enough that it looks gold-like for the most part. They probably could have, I don't know. See, if they added too much warmth, they would have went to piss yellow. So it's like, they were really threading the needle on this one. I think they just got lucky in that they already had a lot of, like, areas that were going to have metal accents, like the shoulders and the arm pieces and the knee plates. Which I think really helps get away from some of the more unfortunate yellow connotations. The batons look really good in this color scheme, too. So you can really see the texture on them. I guess they're technically nunchucks, but... I'm not sure how he keeps turning them into nunchucks, but he can.
It is an interesting one. I've never really watched his animations because I don't play Daredevil.
See?
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
Like, it just briefly turns into a chain and then stops being a chain.
One sec. Okay. I'm not sure I like the Ronald McDonald branded batons this time around, though.
What if, well, yeah. I'm trying to think of how they could split the difference, but I think that's one of the problems of trying to put some of the classic suits on some of the more complicated designs. So the classic suits were cut that way because they were just like one, bodysuit. And so cutting a one bodysuit into a couple of bigger shapes is not that big of a deal, visually. But when you start adding like armor and belts and padding, and then it gets a little more weird to cut the shapes that simply, because it just looks a little like monotone. So yeah, I say this is about like in the middle. Like I almost want to like it because I think the top half looks kind of neat, but then the bottom half I don't think really pulls it together very well.
Yeah.
But there's like nothing they can do if they're keeping with the original design and not giving any room for separating out any more shapes and things.
Oh, I should show you a complication to this design, by the way, which is something that doesn't appear on this screen but does in battle. One sec. Let me head to practice mode. Don't look.
You always tell me this after I've looked. It's like, don't look at the obvious thing on the screen.
We'll get to her in a couple episodes.
Let me guess.
Daredevil.
Don't look. But I wanna.
Okay, so you can look.
Okay.
I'd gladly do it again if it helps.
Oh, he like has a.
He has fire effects on every costume.
Are they always violet?
They are, yes, except in like one or two costumes where player pressure forced them to make them a darker color. They are a visual indicator for yourself and your opponents that he is fully charged with one of his resources.
Oh, is that a good thing? It's pretty cool, though. I imagine that's going to look really awful on a lot of the other color ways. Also, it makes me feel even weirder because they're really, really trying to go for the magenta Daredevil, and I'm like, I really rather it would be red or orange.
Yeah.
Also, why did they give him fire powers? His superpower was, his like super reflexes and things.
One of the cool things about him, though, is you see the way that it doesn't look normal out there. They represent his vision
by outlining everything.
And darkening it. He can actually see people through walls too. Like, you see that?
That's pretty fun.
Isn't that cool? Every part of him that's cool is counterbalanced by something that isn't. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, like, I'd rather just have that with the classic look.
Yeah.
With the red. Like, red! Just make him red! Where did this violet come from?
Alright, stop looking again.
Oh. Am I wrong in that? Just make him red!
Okay, you can look again.
He's supposed to be red.
He is supposed to be red. You know what he's not supposed to be?
No! Oh my god! This is just like someone just like, I have this stupid color scheme.
Now, I don't know whether you'll dislike this more or one of the ones that is not available for me more, because they're both pretty weird.
I kind of like what they did with the cyan, though. It makes him look like a poison dart frog.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
And they kept a lot of the black areas black. I think this might be one of the better skins. I also like that you can see the echo effect on his emblem, which I didn't realize was there.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
I saw it had a texture, but I just assumed it was texture. But on this one, you can really tell what it's actually supposed to be.
That's cool.
Yeah, this one is not offensive, really. Except for the red hair, but for the same reasons that it was weird on the other one. They didn't change his hair color either. What's going on? Why isn't it cyan like half of everybody else?
Yeah, that's not a color they're allowed to use for Galactus skins.
Honestly, this one balances pretty well. I think because they left the warm parts really in a small area. So, like, all the warm parts are really just outlining the armor and highlighting the eyes and the horns. Versus, like, what usually happens where the warm part is, like, a big overwhelming section of the whole design. And then, like, the darker purple is used on the middle of the belt, I just noticed. So they kind of blend in with the other blue instead of being just dark gray like the rest of his outfit.
Uh-huh.
Also, they let them use a dark gray. Which really, really helps balance out this color scheme because now there's values besides the middle and a little bit of the top. So that, because now, if we're talking about value arrangement too, like where I talked about this color palette has like mid red violet, mid blue violet, and then mid dark blue, and then a high value cyan, right? And that's it. If you don't let any range in that, you can't hardly make anything good because everything is too much the same. So now what they did is they put all those mids on the armor and used a little bit of the warmth contrast to kind of highlight the edges of the armor, but it's not a value contrast, it's a warm versus cool.
Uh-huh.
And then they got that dark black on most of his other outfit to contrast all the mids. So now the mids kind of become this one big shape, even though they're all different colors. But when you're thinking about it as a visual design, they're like one color. And to give it a little bit of variety, they put the cyan in the pattern. So the cyan is what's kind of popping out. Just a little bit. It's not, the cyan on this one is not as bright as possible, but it is still cyan. But it's lighter than the blue, so it's giving this kind of neat, like texture almost to the outfit. And I really like where it's at. 'Cause it's just like shoulders, hips, across the chest, the parts on the knees. This is really nice.
Is this a Galactus skin you actually like?
I think it might be one that I actually like.
Ah, wow! Finally,
It took them a while.
we're only a year in.
They've been hearing me complain, I guess. But it is, like, value-wise really nice, and it's a good way to use your mid values, is because, like, the armor itself is really complicated, but you don't want the viewer to look at the armor and then be, like, everything just be really punchy, right? You know, big contrast, because the viewer would be just like, this is too busy, and I don't like it, right?
Uh-huh.
But if you're using all those mid values and you're letting the shapes be defined by warm versus cool, which is not as always as contrasting as values, because like the blue violet and the red violet are already sharing a pretty harmonizing color palette anyway, so the push of difference is not as strong. You know, if they put like bright red on there, that'd be a much larger warm versus cold contrast, right? Because it'd be farther away on the color wheel.
Yep.
And more different. So there's a lot of harmony in the values, so that the whole armor, the part that's like, kind of like the leather and the plating and stuff, that's like one shape, so that it can contrast with the dark cloth of the rest of his outfit. And I feel like that makes it a nice big shape. So you get this big read of, like, you know, his big Dorito body, right?
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, like, here's his arms, and here's his legs, and the gloves. It's very nice.
I think something I disapprove about this outfit is that the eyes are a different color from the rest of the mask. Like, part of the Daredevil aesthetic gimmick is that his mask is supposed to look wrong because people are used to having distinct eyes in a mask. But he doesn't. They're like opaque shields because he can't see. So in a lot of Daredevil costumes, the eyes will be the exact same color as the rest of the mask because they're just part of the mask. And I wish his eyes here were the same color as the rest of the mask.
Yeah, would have been too on the nose to make them black, like the black blind glasses from old-timey comics. Those must have been a real thing. I should look into the history of that. But I always feel like the black glasses are more of an ableist thing because, you know, people would freak out because you wouldn't be looking at them properly, or maybe if you had an eye deformity, you could hide it with the dark glasses.
Yeah.
That's always been my theory anyway. of why that was maybe more of a trend. But I could look into it. Maybe it was just a comic book thing as a shorthand for this is what a blind person looks like, and it's not based on reality whatsoever. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know where that trope originated. I think it is a real life thing first, though, where people would wear dark glasses to hide the fact that their eyes weren't pointing in the directions that people expected.
I don't know. It's like they just want to get by in life. They don't want to inspire fear.
Yeah.
They should, as is their right.
Like, it's unfair to blind people, but if you engage in a conversation with somebody and their eyes aren't doing what you expect them to, you're going to be a little unnerved, because that's just how humans are wired. And unfortunately for blind people, their eyes don't do what most people expect them to do. They don't focus on you while you're talking. They sometimes don't even point in the right directions for the conversation. And so it is an unfortunate thing, but I understand completely why they would wear sunglasses to cover that up when they're going to be talking to people on a regular basis.
Yeah, reminds me of wandering eye, which is not a blindness thing, although it can contribute to eyesight problems. But apparently wandering eye is like a thing that's more common than you would think, because some people have it when they're young and it resolves itself.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's wild to think about. Bodies are weird. But yeah, I can see that. I mean, I know why they did the violet is to make the eyes stand out more. But it is kind of a gimmick of this character in particular to not emphasize the eyes.
Yeah.
So they could have went with just the same color or darker shade or whatever. I don't hate it either, though, but...
Oh, yeah, it's not bad. It's just, like, bad conceptually. For me, it's a nitpick.
Yeah. But I will say this is the best use of the Galacta palette that I've seen. Also, just because I want to give them points that I think the cyan is actually very fun. Because I like I said, my first thought is Poison Dart Frog or something bright and colorful, and I think like the pattern itself looks kind of cool.
Yeah, they did a good job with this one. So, thumbs up for your first Galacta skin?
Yeah, we'll do a thumbs up on this one. We keep joking that we should put all the Galacta skins and rate them as like a S tier to shit tier scale.
Yeah, that would be a fun video. All right, well, so you like the cyan, huh?
Oh no.
Uh-huh. How about the Disney Plus skin?
The Disney Plus skin?
If you have Disney Plus, you get a code for this skin.
Why? It's pretty cool though. It kind of has the same idea that there's like a big contrast on the thing. Can you imagine if they had done the base skin in like the bright red and did gold like they're doing here? Or even just a dark red so the gold would pop because gold's going to be lighter in value. That would look so much better than the weird magenta thing they got going on. That's a pretty nice color.
Yeah.
He looks good in green. The Green Devil. Oh, this would have been cool for the Chinese thing too. It'd be like dark jade or something. Pretty much anything but magenta. What were they thinking, honestly? I have a lot of bones to pick. Because the more I look at the other skins, the more I'm just like, I want red, I want red, I want... I can't be the only one, right?
Yeah. I haven't heard many complaints about the color of the base Daredevil skin, but...
like, the colored for me would fix so much. I also kind of like making the pants and the other stuff a color. That looks really nice, actually. Because in the other ones, he's just kind of dark. For the most part. The silver looks really good.
You're a big fan of when they do stuff with that pattern in the skin, aren't you?
Yeah, it just looks nice. I think it also balances well because it's only on the top and like the sides, like the way that it's sectioned. Because it doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't get to the point where it's overwhelming. But it is very eye-catching and interesting to look at. I don't know if it fixes the dick and balls aspect for you, but I mean, this is
It's really only dick and balls on the back.
yeah. I mean, I don't remember the name of this pattern, but I think it's been around for a long time because it's basically just hexagons, and then you just group a bunch of them together and outline them. Arab art would have patterns like this easily.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to sneeze.
Yeah, this is pretty much another recolor, but I like it a lot. I'm just also like, can you imagine like the dark black with like dark red on the outsides? It'd be so cool. Why won't they do that? Did they do the light eyes again though?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they keep doing that.
Did they do it on this skin? They
Yeah,
did.
it's red.
They colored his eyes. Just sanity check. In his default skin, they're the right color.
Yeah, but you know what's in the icon? They're white.
Yeah, they are. Weird.
I think it depends though, because I want to say I've seen pictures of him with white eyes, but usually they do it in like it's a blank white eye thing. But it's mostly because for drawing, so they can give him some expression, even though he is not seeing. They can do the surprised or squinting or which doesn't make sense at all. But
We've all kind of grown accustomed to Spider-Man having an expressive mask, it's good animation and character design and stuff. So it doesn't really matter if it's realistic or not. They did try to implement it in the MCU though. When he first shows up in Civil War, his lenses expand and close.
Mm-hmm. I saw that they were doing like they have a little bit of that where it has like a mechanical component, so they go woo, so he can kind of squint or open his eyes in surprise. It's kind of a clever way to do it because obviously that for the movies they're trying to make the costumes seem as realistic as possible, which means they're trying to make them seem like they could reasonably exist and move mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that was a pretty clever solution. I still think it's one of those art styles, though. It really does just sing best in the graphic design area, and not so much the realm of reality, because it's where you can exaggerate and make things more heroic, more of something, which is why Spider-Verse exists. What a fun movie. But even before that, all the animated shows that happened before that, I don't know why they won't do movies as much anymore. It used to be like a lot of movies would exaggerate, so you'd get like movies with basically cartoon physics in them. First thing I think of is like Matilda for no reason. But like you used to get movies that wanted to replicate that kind of it's like farce where things are exaggerated beyond reality or realisticness to make them more of what they would normally be. So either more funny, more tragic, more interesting, so on and so forth. It'd be kind of neat to see if we come back around away from the everything is realistic, because what they can do now with compositing is pretty insane. Some of the point where maybe it's too insane. They're just like acting out on a blank stage with boxes on it, and then they put the backgrounds and stuff in later. But with what they could do, I think with the right vision, they could do some pretty incredible stuff if they wanted to move away from realism. Film with real actors, but then have an unrealistic expectation. But there have been a few movies like that. Like Yesterday had some interesting compositions as far as the way they did color and film, and they would do these like kind of graphic design things. I think Scott Pilgrim has a bunch of that too, where they will pan out into more animated styles. I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim, but I've seen clips.
It was an interesting movie.
You know what's interesting though about that is I think it's it's extremely different from the comics, and then people who have never seen the comics tend to enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Which is a bit funny. Because I read like maybe like the first arc or so of the comic series before I got a little bored of it, so it was kind of different from what I was expecting. But it is very making fun of video game culture way more than you would typically expect if no one prepares you for that.
Yeah.
Because everyone's all about like, oh man, it's Scott Pilgrim and like the fights and stuff. I'm like, okay, let's check this out, and it's just like video games. And I was like, oh, okay. I get you now. I'm just thinking like other movies that might have had more of a graphic design approach that I've seen lately. Because there have been some, but yesterday's the only one that comes to mind at the moment. I just remember some very cool stuff, which you still need to see. We should watch that later.
We should. Okay. Any other comments on the Disney Plus skin?
Yeah, I'm not real sure why they went with green, or other than it's just a different skin color and they just wanted to have a tie-in, but it's pretty.
If we get Disney Plus, make sure you get me the code.
I've had it before. You should have asked me then.
Oh.
I try to do streaming just long enough to watch everything and then cancel because I have nothing else to watch.
Yeah.
I did that with Netflix. I'm just like, how long are they going to take to update Dragon Prince? So long that I've forgotten what happened in the plot, and I don't know if I should start watching it again. That's how long it's going to take for them to update Dragon Prince.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if they have actually updated it or just changed the title of it, because I'm just like, But I think they have added more since I last watched it, but it was good. Oh, do we have more to see on there?
One more recolor.
One more recolor.
This is his ranked reward skin.
Ooh.
Which doesn't have a video, apparently? Huh.
That's unusual.
That's annoying.
Or unusual. It does kind of look more like, it kind of reminds me, we were talking about that classic design. This one has a better balance, though, because I really like the muted colors. It makes it feel, like, more cohesive with this more realistic styled outfit. And I like that they're using some of the layers to, like, they're putting, like, the white rim on part of the outfit so that it's different from the yellow portion. And so on and so forth. It looks pretty nice. I mean, it's pretty, like, pretty. And it's got, like, some of the, what do they do in the pattern? There's, like, a little dark, is it just the rivets that are dark? And then the pattern is slightly darker red and slightly lighter red.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
Yeah, because I think they made the rivets darker because they didn't want to contrast the outline color. Since that's already creating a rhythm, they didn't want to distract by having another secondary rhythm that was, vying for visual space. Also, I keep forgetting sometimes how different the color scape is on your two monitors. Because one monitor is over here and the colors are like delightfully like muted and dull. And then I look at the peek at the other screen with the recording and it's like bright red. And I'm just like, oh wait. It's probably a little brighter red. That's the red we all been waiting for. Why wasn't this the default? Wouldn't that look cool as a default? And I like the red and white effects for his Daredevil fire.
I think this is an interesting recolor, but I don't like it as a default Daredevil design.
I'm just trying to get rid of the magenta any way that I can.
All right, anything else to say about this one? Or shall we get back to the in-game display?
Yeah, I think that's all the comments I could make on it without a video anyway. Not that this is bad either. I just really want the red.
Well, we'll finish out with a couple of red ones. So up next is the MCU skin.
When did he become so dark?
Yeah, this is part of the season 2 of the Daredevil show that's going on right now.
Oh. I keep hearing things about that on and off, but I don't know if it's still good, or if it was good and then it wasn't good, or if it's, I don't even know anything about it.
Only thing I've heard about it is that it's really good all the way through.
All the way through?
Yeah.
All right. You heard it here first. We haven't seen it. It's apparently really good all the way through.
Here's a classic Daredevil suit.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, this just feels kind of like a tactical suit, like all the way through with the way the cuts and stuff are, especially with the big straps over the shoulders, making it look kind of like he might either have like a backpack or a gunsling. He doesn't, but the visual is kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then, sectioning out the abs, the athleticism. Hey, it's the athleticism I was talking about. And the daring, and the danger. It's all there. I'm still not going to get over them giving him pink as his power color, though.
Most people process that as... Oh, the power color. Yeah, no, that's weird. I was going to say, most people process that magenta suit as red. Not everybody's as discerning as you.
Yeah, and if they were, they would demand more red. Because, like, the red in the background is really nice. Like, can you imagine if that was used for his power color?
Yeah.
Like a red-orange.
In this skin specifically, I believe it is. This and the one I'm going to show you next are the ones where the player base bullied the devs into toning down the color of the power indicator. I think they also eventually caved and gave people an option to shut it off completely.
Interesting.
But only client side. Opponents can still see it.
Man, that's really contentious if you had to give the players the ability to turn off a visual effect.
The two of the next skins I'm going to show you are, you'll see why people were mad.
It just also seems like, since his suit is red, that a red-orange would go better with any other designs you might come up with,
Yeah.
And even if you went like all blue or something, red's gonna be pretty much a direct warm contrast to that, so it'd still look good in my opinion. That's just like my opinion, man. He has a little a holster for his batons too.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I like it's got like tactical boots with the straps and things. There's kind of some fun throw lines though, like the ones that go up the thighs and then connect to the rest of the suit. And then they're like a bunch of greebling underneath the rib cage on the, I'm not sure what you call that, the side of the torso there. It's kind of just like, it's a repetition. It's like line, line, line. There's few little cutouts on there. I think they're just there to kind of break up stuff and shape and thing. Because there's like one like right here underneath like the last rib. There's like one vertical or diagonal line going the opposite way.
Yeah.
But I think some of that is just trying to get the eye moving to different ways. So instead of shooting up towards the armpit, it shoots up, hits that line, maybe pivots you back up towards the center.
Back up till his Tiggo Billy bitties.
Yep. To the assets. He also has an actual collar on this with a little V-neck. But she also makes it feel like, it's an outfit over the top of a mask. So dark. So menacing. Looks like him and Batman should hang out.
Yeah.
I like the little details in it. It's got a lot of nice, thorough lines kind of that lead you through, like along the arms. There's another line that goes along the arm, down the side, and so on. It's just a nice way to connect all these together. And none of these are very high contrast. They're all pretty subtle. I think some of the brighter things are there's like a slightly warmer metal tone for the gauntlets that are like just slightly lighter, but not by a lot. And there's a little bit of red on the glove and the metal pieces. But it's happening very gradually too, because I feel like the metal knuckles are brighter than the bracer. So it's just like slightly, subtly warmer. And then it makes it so the head could be like the darkest.
The shadowing is a really nice touch.
Oh yeah, it's instead of doing, it is different, isn't it? Instead of doing the harsh tone they usually do, it's like a much softer, smokier look. Because most of the shadowing they do on stuff is like either a cell colored kind of thing going on. That always makes the models look so cool though, because like the backlighting too with like the blue and stuff, so you don't lose like the shape of the torso on the arm. You know, it doesn't let shapes bleed into each other too much, so you lose definition. Cool stuff. I also like just the very low-key red. Goes with the very muted color scheme very well.
Sorry, I'm moving my meds alarm from the middle of the video till after the video. One sec. Yeah, I don't know if there's much to say about this costume other than, yep, that's all black.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of repetition with shapes and designs. Like there's a lot of like the upward V shape. Because one, it mimics the muscle group of the abs, but also it points you up. But just these little repetitions. But none of them are supposed to stand out. They're all supposed to be like just little things throughout the whole thing, but the values are all pretty much, you know, the same. Mm-hmm. So all they really do is just kind of divide groups and shapes on the suit, but in a very subtle way. It really is a lot like they're just kind of like drawing out the muscle groups with these lines. So you just basically have just the whole physicality, muscly look. I think the only ones that don't quite do any muscle groups are some of the long lines through the arm and the legs. Because there are some muscle groups in the legs, but those don't really follow any of them. They're just there to kind of like cut the suit. So they have these long lines that go up. Mm-hmm. But it is cool, I like it.
All right, up next, another black suit. This is a year one costume. Before he had his costume.
Neat. The sneakers are a nice touch. I like how he has all black everything except for the sneakers. Like you couldn't find a black pair of sneakers, my dude.
Also, that is the most identifiable hair color in all of New York City.
What are you talking about? There's a huge Irish population there. They have to find him from with all the other Irish guys. I like, it's always funny to me when they do this, because this is like a more modern trend in men's fashion. But there's such a fear of not showing like physical muscles, especially in suits, and it looks awful in suits. But it's happening here too, where they make a piece of clothing, but then they make it like form-fitting. You know, like you can see the man's pecs through this.
Through his loose hoodie, yeah.
Yeah, through what's normally supposed to be a very loose-fitting garment. And you can tell by the way they did the arms that they're still trying to do the, you know, it's a casual loose fit. And this is my opinion as a designer. Like, I know these are superheroes, so I give them a little bit of a pass on this because, you know, super heroic. But I'm like, if you're drawing clothing, draw the clothing with the drapery that it's supposed to have. Because otherwise you might end up with stuff that looks really weird. I watched menswear guy, but one of the ones I remember most vividly is this thing about what a good suit is supposed to look like, and the examples they used were like an older James Bond movie versus a newer one, and how the suit fit each one of them. Because in one of the newer ones, the director specifically wanted like this superhero look, and he's supposed to be doing this like cool walk through and like, you know, jumping over buildings and, you know, doing this thing, but the suit looks pretty iffy throughout the whole thing because it's so tight on the guy that it stretches every time he does movement and stuff.
Yeah, a tailored suit is not going to be form-fitting. it will suggest a form, but it will not like vacuum suck you. Something I heard from a fashion expert a long time ago that really stuck with me is a fat man in a well-tailored suit looks good while still looking large. A fat man in a badly tailored suit just looks really fat.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a whole other thing too, but then when they showed like the counterexample of the other James Bond, and like he has like the tailored suit, and I'm like, it looks so hot, you know, it's like, because the suit is like draping off the shoulders, it moves with him, so like the beauty of the fabric and the shape that the fabric makes this amazing silhouette that's just like really pleasing to look at. And that's what good fashion should do when you're wearing it on your body, is it should make a really interesting silhouette, texture, shape. So there is some similarities to visual design and fashion design, and I'm not a person who could tell you how to dress, but what fashion is trying to shoot for when it's good is sharing some of the same artistic elements as visual design, where it's like, you know, this is, you know, like a fishnet stocking is a texture, right? And like this big draped dress or jacket is a shape, and it's changing your body shape to be like this beautiful triangle or square or trapezoid, and then balancing it with shoes and or jeans or whatever else. But they have to balance, and it's really obvious when they don't. But yeah, I know, this set me off with the vacuum formed hoodie. Because obviously he still looks very athletic and sexy and hot. And they do it a lot with the pants too. Like a lot of loose fitting pants are still like vacuum formed to their butts.
Yep. Like so.
And like, it's superheroes, and superheroes have that history of they wear the leotards as their costume. And it might have a cape or it might have some other stuff on it. But the leotard has been like the de facto, and it goes back to like circus performer days too, of like, this is a really athletic superhuman person, and they're wearing like this, you know, skin tight leotard to show how athletic they can move. And it's kind of funny to apply that logic to clothing that doesn't really fit that.
Yep.
And like, I think it was fine for this one, but it is kind of funny because like, if they had gone with like looser fitting clothes, because they're trying to do like, this is his dopey, I haven't become a hero yet fit. Well, like, nothing about this feels really dopey or casual or anything, because it's all like, boom, muscle, you know?
He's got a compression shirt on underneath it, too.
Right? It's like, this is a bro who hits the gym, you know, like 10 times a week, you know? Like, he goes twice a day, something, you know? And, you know, like, there's been some, like, we looked at some of Peter Parker's had some of that, too, where it's like, sometimes they forget that they're trying to make a dorky costume, and they still do this.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, since there's not really a story behind it, I think it's fine enough. I like the color. I think the white shoes actually might just be, like, a balance for the skin color, honestly, and the batons, because everything else is just the same color or gray. Which,
You know, here's another way the player base bullied the devs. Those batons are not the batons the skin launched with.
oh, yeah? Oh, no!
Yep.
Oh, and there's you could turn it off the Demon's Rage.
Yep. It launched with these clubs, and people were like, but that's not what he would have used in year one. So they updated it so that these are the default Billy clubs now. I can't remember whether you have to use unstable molecules to get the classic clubs, but they default to these now.
That's funny. His hair's a little bit more messy than normal. I just noticed. Because he's going to the gym, he doesn't brush his hair out. But, you know, like, that's when I say, like, with visual storytelling, because obviously making it vacuum formed is the storytelling is he's a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you gotta, like, think about, okay, what is the story then? Like, obviously, for this game, superhero is definitely the way to go, but when you're talking about overall, like, sometimes it's better to be more casual and make them less heroic if the point is to show them in their less heroic era.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on the character, too, because, like, look at that chiseled chin, just... Chad chin right there.
One thing I do really like about this skin is, again, I keep coming back to the eyes.
Yeah. I do like there is some texture difference, because I really like the cords on the hoodie. Because they just have that texture.
Mm-hmm.
Also, though, how did he must have bought that as a tracksuit set, because, like, getting matching black clothing is so hard. Oh, maybe. But yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent on this one, but there's not really much to say other than why they made the choices that they made.
Yeah, like the most interesting thing you can discuss about this skin is probably the color balance between the white and the black.
Yeah, because like the hoodie is basically well, except for one of the stripes on the arms that could be extra. Sports hoodies sometimes have those, but for the most part, the lines on the garment are the lines that are on the real world type of garment that they share. The seams, I should say.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else to say about this one, let's move on to his launch shop skin.
Kamen Rider.
2099 Daredevil.
Kamen Rider. He just needs the motorcycle. That is pretty cool looking, though. It's really large, too, though. He's got, like, these spiky... danger spikes!
Mm-hmm.
But with the holographic treatment on the outside makes them feel really future-y. Warning! Unregistered superhuman in the vicinity! Terminate all unauthorized activity at once! You have breached the Alchemact Corporation City Security Ordinance. This is your last warning. Non-compliance will result in you being deemed a high priority threat and forcibly stopped by any means necessary.
I guess there isn't a 2099 equivalent of Daredevil, because this is apparently a Marvel Rivals original.
Huh. Cool.
Huh. I thought this was based on the comics. Never mind. It's cool.
Yeah. They really don't want him to be red, though, do they?
That's red.
It's more red than the other one, but it's still kind of violet-y. It's got like a more of an iridescent orange to violet thing going on.
Heiko, I hate to break this to you, but you're that XKCD comic right now about experts in their field. 99% of people are going to look at this and go, oh, that's red.
That's what you have me here for.
That is true.
You're chastising me for doing my job.
That is true. I apologize, but it is funny to think about.
You hired me to do this. This exact thing that I'm doing.
That's true. I apologize.
Then anyway, it's red and violet. What color of red is it then? You tell me.
Looks red. It, like pinkish?
Pinkish, yeah. And how did it get pinkish? What color did they add to it?
White.
No. They had purple.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more of like a magenta pink, especially over the holographic bits. Look at that. Meow. Meow. It's also got a little bit of blue too on some of the holograms.
Yeah.
So they're definitely doing like red to cool tones on this one. So a lot of magenta. Which again is why I was saying they can't let the magenta go, because I really want them to go red-orange.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just felt it was too obvious because they already have Torch, you know? And they can't make him purple. But I like the shaping, the holographic spine. Looks sick as hell.
Yeah.
Creates this nice like arc over the shoulders, and then there's like the big red sections. They have another spot with the cyan, which again matches because everything is got that kind of purpley tone, which works in this one because they're bringing a lot of blues into the outfit anyway. So to get it to mesh, they need to have a more of a magenta red. But you notice there's a lot of orange reds that pop up because of the iridescence.
Uh-huh. Like
right there, it look really good. And it's just like that creates a nice pop on all the cool tones. So the color is really beautiful on this one. still got cheeks. So, you know.
Of course.
He has actual gutters. I hate to say it, but it's got to be what they're for. In case it rains. I also like the way they did the metal pieces for the abs. It's a cool shape and it's really abstract, but it feels very ab-like. Especially with it kind of like the form of it. It has got like this front plate and then the kind of 2 side plates. So it has like this 3-dimensional feeling to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, gosh, it's really just really nicely put together as a mechanical design. Because like the big pectoral shape, and then they have this like butting up arrow shape that's like some of the muscles. There's a lot of muscles that attach to your rib cage around there because the arm is complex enough to have a lot of mobility. So there's like these series of smaller muscles in that section. And I love that they just use this big stripe to represent that, and it's just like ka-chunk into the pectorals, you know? Like it's just like attached mechanically. And it's simple, and I really like that a lot. There's some nice stuff going on around the neck too, because you can see like the tendons are red, bright red, and then attached with these big grommet things. And then there's like these more subtle, because there's this muscle group on your neck that attaches to like the back of your head and down. It's like called the cape. As a group, it's like cape that goes around your back of your neck, and I just really like the way they've sectioned off that with the dark gray, the mid-tone gray, and the light gray. Mm-hmm. Especially pulling the light gray towards the front, so it's still tied in with the ab group. And I just noticed they have like these big metal pieces on the muscle. I like that way they did this shape on the muscle group, because that's so easy to draw. It's just like draw a shape on the muscle and then just do the repeating metal shape on it.
The biceps, you mean?
Yeah, on the biceps. Because it also makes them really chunky too. Mm-hmm. But like there's no interplay with other parts, so I'm liking that's actually a pretty clever solution, because it makes a big pop that makes it look like a big muscly chunk of metal, but you don't actually have to like attach or integrate it with any other muscle groups. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, yes, good, simple. Oh, he's got like little inserts on his arms too, like little mechanical engines. I guess he's got it on his chest too. You just can't see it very well underneath the holographic logo. They did still give him glowing eyes though.
Yeah, but in this case, we don't know what the hell is going on underneath that mask, so it just looks cool. Mm-hmm. And the fire is cool.
Yeah, that does make an interesting point, though, if you're going to make, like, I'm assuming this is some kind of, like, a warden robot kind of thing going on. But, you know, you think most robots are made to use senses that humans use. You know, when you see the generic, you are trespassing, trespasser, you shall be eliminated. You know, usually they're fighting in, like, the scope of what a human would do, which is I see the thing with my sensors, I go after the thing with my muscles, you know. It'd be kind of interesting to see a robot design that's more of like, I sense you via sounds!
Yep.
And then I'm gonna, come after you, whether I see you visually or not, because we're not using visual sensors. Like, that'd be a little terrifying. Like, it knows you were there before you knew it was there. Mm-hmm. It's worse than Terminator with, like, it's the Predators that have the heat vision.
Yep.
I don't remember what Terminator had.
Terminator.
Determination?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll be back. I am filled with determination.
Despite everything, it's still you.
We went off the rails. There's some other nice repetitions too, because on the wrists, I really like the banding on the underside, where it's like these rows of 3 or 4, something like that. Mm-hmm. Makes this like nice, and also the shine on it. The texture on this one is so nice. Mm-hmm. I can just talk. Is anytime you can make something shiny, and it's always like a sweet spot too. Because if you make it too shiny, you're like, ugh. And if you don't make it shiny enough, you're like, oh, it's kind of neat. It's like the perfect amount of shiny. So it picks up highlights in different spots when he's rotated. It's really nice. I really like the knee pads there too. Because they've done a lot of like kneecap stuff, but I like this floating kneecap thing. It's kind of different from what I've seen them do a lot. I like that it looks like it would leave a space for the legs to move. And you know, like you'd bend the knee and that kneecap might like fold or protect like the parts, or you know, you can see it moving in a way that could be more efficient as a mechanical design. Are his effects still have the same color as what's on here, like with the blue?
You know, you mean in game?
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't own this skin and I'm not going to buy it for this video.
Oh no! Mystery. They should let you use skins you don't have in like the
practice. Yeah.
Just to trick you into wanting them, because you're like, man, it'd be so cool if I could beat up all my friends with this skin.
Yep. Like, people have been asking for that, a way to try on the skins before getting to use them. I'm not sure why the devs haven't gone for that yet.
Yeah, because you would think you would try it and then be like, oh, I can't pick it in matches? Well, dang, I need to buy it now, because I really thought that was cool.
You go to the shop, think, oh, that looks cool. You try it out in the practice range, it's like, this is sick! And you go and buy it. That's an extra sale.
Yeah, I guess they're worried people will try it and go, this isn't sick.
But all their skins are sick.
Man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say on this one. There is some kind of cool repetition on the back here with like the direction, because they have that inner diagonals going towards the spine. That's repeated quite a lot. They do a lot of rhythms in these outfits too. Just not even just this one, but in general. Like, rhythm is a big player in how they put stuff together. I also like how they did the back of the arms here too, with those two groups. I still think my favorite is the simplification of some of the muscles with that big strap from like under the shoulder to the chest. That one is just, because it's so mechanical, but it's mimicking the real muscle groups, but it looks so good. Yeah.
I like how his chest has a face.
Like a Kamen Rider face. I see it now. I mean, I was only half joking with the Kamen Rider, but yeah. Which, like, Kamen Rider is, like, their version of the superhero, genre. But it's like, that one, it always, because of the motorcycle, it almost feels like it's way more focused on motorcycle gear as a motif. And I definitely can see that. Because some of, like, especially, like, high-speed motorcycle gear, like, you have, like, the shoulder and elbow pads and the kind of fabric supposed to streamline your profile so you can go faster, you know, so it's like just enough padding to not destroy yourself, but I also like the separation of like how they did the red color, because there's like a lot of gray in the middle. And so you got like big red boots, big red pauldron, big red arms, and a big red mask. So it creates this nice stripes. It's almost like kind of like a stripe of gray across the top, and then kind of like a slight V of gray through across the middle. Almost like they're inverse, almost like two trapezoids, and you flip them and they're inverse in gray. But yeah, I like this one a lot. This one's pretty cool.
Cool.
Even if they are evil.
All right, well, we're coming up on stream time, so we have time enough for one more skin, which is the last one. We'll do the MVPs and favorite picking after. So this is the Christmas 2025 skin, which is based on an actual comic thing.
I'm not Daredevil.
Yeah, the storyline was that some other lawyer was trying to finger him as Daredevil. And when he finally got legally cleared of being Daredevil, he went to an office party with this shirt on and the little fake horns and stuff and a candy cane. And it's very funny.
That's wonderful. the evil Daredevil snowman on the back. This is pretty fun, and it's only like subtly fun. It's not like totally wacky like some of the other goofy skins they've done.
Mm-hmm.
They still can't help by making things vacuum formed though.
Yeah.
My kingdom for a soft, fluffy sweater. But it's like the style that they want to go with, because they want to show all the muscles. I do always appreciate how much they try to keep the weight to the fabric though. Like they put a lot of wrinkles in it. It just it's like 50-50 whether it actually looks nice or if it just looks a little goofy. Because only thing that happens if you make a sweater, which is a loose fitting garment, vacuum forms, it makes it look like it's too small for him.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you were a hero sized, it would be hard to find things in your size.
Just ask Grandma to make one.
Maybe. They got little pink tinges to the ends of his hair. Is that what's been hiding under the mask the whole time?
I guess.
I like the subtle effect of the horns line up, but they're desynced, so they're like one side lights up and then the other side lights up. So they don't light up at the same time. They just go blink, 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 blink. It's kind of like I think we have like the beige pants. It's really fun that the bottom half is like the office wear. It's like he's wearing the beige pants, the nice shoes, the loafers, and the matching socks. It just normally he would be wearing like the lawyer jacket and the tie and stuff, but it's an office party, so it's a little fun.
Oh man, I wonder if they'll ever do just like Matt in just a suit.
Lawyer up. It could be called the outfit.
They've put other characters in suits. We saw the Jean Grey suit, for example.
Mm-hmm. Could be. But yeah, the little detail on the back is pretty fun, because most of the outfits do have some kind of spoiler or pattern or emblem on the back. He hasn't had a lot of that, but this one is pretty fun, considering this is what you're going to see 90% of the time. And if everyone from the front, as you come rushing towards them, is going to see, I'm not Daredevil! I wonder if it'd be funny to try to put a team together with some of the goofiest skins ever. Like, they could go this with, like, the magic stuffed animals skin that doesn't really look like it works. The Y2K one.
Uh-huh.
Get, like, some of the other weird ones out there. Like the panda rocket raccoon.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 DPS and a healer. I think once we get to Venom, you'll have your tank pick for that roster.
Just like, it'd just be funny to have like the worst dressed team. Mm-hmm. That'd be really funny to do as like a theme. Do like, do rounds and then have like a secret modifier of like for extra points. Be like worst dressed, best dressed. By team.
I do feel a little bad for the devs about the complaints about the default Daredevil skin, though, because for the same reason as a lot of people are complaining for the same reason as they complained about the Chinese New Year skins. And just like the Chinese New Year skins, this is native Chinese people adapting these characters into their own culture and celebrating them. And
yeah, I really hope they keep up with the New Year skins. They're so cool. And they
Yeah.
gave us football skins, so we really shouldn't be able to complain. They understand our culture very well. Because I thought some of the New Year skins are some of the most interesting ones I've seen. See, my thing is, I don't hate his default skin. I just wish it was this color red. And that's it. That's the only real complaint. Because I feel if he had the iconic, like, devil red, I don't know if we would see as many complaints, even if it did have a lot of Chinese motifs, like a lion mask or other things that were more distinctly Chinese than just the kind of vaguely samurai. No, samurai's Japanese. Damn it, I had it so good for so long. I'm saying warrior, and then I messed it up in the end. I was so close. But it's like, they're superficially similar because they both, well, you know, there was a lot of cross-culture stuff anyway, but both did we make paper and leather and straw and like non-plate armor. And it was just as good, probably even better than plate armor because you'd actually move in it.
Uh-huh.
But like, it can't be understated how good the armor was at stopping stuff from killing you. Like, it did its job very well. But some of that stuff that they put together with the scale armor and stuff, it took so many man hours to make because they were like sewing and attaching each individual scale. But once it was all put together, it was like pretty damn sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was thinking about paper because I was watching Mythbusters and they were testing this, and they did like the straw and paper, and because they were trying to figure out if it was as effective, and they found out like, yeah, it is. The only difference is if you're making it out of straw, is that it's only good for maybe like 1 or 2 hits, and then you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remake your armor. Whereas like if you made it out of leather or some other material,
It'd be weaker, but it would last forever.
Well, it wouldn't even be weaker. It's just as good, but it's going to last longer.
Yeah.
It's basically more of like, do you want your armor to last for a little while and be cheaper to make, or you want it to last forever, nearly, but be way more expensive? And you know, not everybody had the expense to pay for the longer lasting armor, and like grass is available everywhere, so
Yeah.
it's like, you know, start weaving, buddy. Weave to survive. But anyway, we want to take a pause here.
Yeah. Is that all you have to say about this skin?
Well, I think so. It's pretty straightforward. It's funny, and it's done well. The pink hair tips are a little interesting, but they match with everything.
Yeah, that's something I hadn't noticed about this skin, and I can't unsee it.
See, if I hadn't pointed it out, you wouldn't even known.
Yeah.
It would have been like, it blends right in. He's just very supportive. I love how he has long, messy hair, though, because like it doesn't matter to him that his hair's long, you know, except for he's got to look good for court.
Yeah.
But you know, he's been through a lot of litigation lately, and you know, he probably couldn't practice while he was in litigation, so maybe he just let it go a little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's all of Daredevil's skins. We'll be back in a few hours in our time and a few seconds in your time for the MVPs and picking favorites. So, see you in a minute. All right, we're back. We're going to watch the MVPs and pick favorites.
Alrighty.
So, let's see here. Default MVP.
Ooh. That's actually pretty badass.
Yeah. Weird that he can just do that, though.
What, make the baton into nunchucks?
Into nunchucks? Where'd the chain come from?
It's magic. Is it like glow? Zoom.
I guess it could be made of magic.
I mean, everything else is on fire.
Yeah, fair.
They're the chains of hell. Your chains of your sin. Perish, evildoer. That sounds more like a Ghost Rider thing. Close enough.
Rumor has it he's going to come within the next, 6 months.
Oh man, that'd be bad. You know what? If they let him ride the motorcycle around as part of his thing, that'd be so badass.
That would be cool.
Like his ultimate is just riding a motorcycle around doing circles and wheelies and just running everyone over in sight.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful. I hope they do something silly like that.
Dai is hoping for hoping for it to be the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider because his name is Danny Ketch.
I was just thinking it'd be funny if they, you know, like how some of the characters have team ups. They have a team up with Jeff, so they can create Sharknado.
For a while, Jeff and Storm had a team up that was Sharknado.
Sharknado 2, the Sharkening.
It was one of the best ults in the game.
What a wild thing. I actually never watched any of the Sharknadoes. What a wild thing that was prevalent enough as a B-movie culture that there was like, I don't know.
5 of them or whatever.
Yeah, there were so many of them. To keep the joke running that long. Amazing. Alright, well this is actually a pretty good MVP though. I really like the end.
Cool.
The end, what do they call that? Card?
Splash screen, maybe?
Yeah, the splash. I usually call it splash illustration because they are illustrated most of the time, but some of them aren't.
All right, up next, MCU.
Let's go let that one run through again. So he senses the bullets, and he blocks them with his tools. And then he runs because explosion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like the physicality of what he's doing is not very punchy, because it feels like he's like doing a thing where he's like Matrix dodging them, but it just seems like he's kind of standing there, except for the part where he's actively blocking them. He's just kind of standing there, and they just happen to have the worst, you know,
Worst aim of all time.
Aimable, yeah. And I was like, if I think I would have liked some of the animation there, at least for my personal preference, to have a bit more of like a skill check in there, like showing the skill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if he was just like casually tilting his head, you know, like tilt, you know, to like avoid these like narrowly, you know, because there's one that goes in front of his face, but it doesn't even look like he dodges it, does it? It just looks like it kind of happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how cool would it be if, like, especially going by his ears, which are his kind of his superpower, if he just was like, tilt, you know, lean back slightly. Mm-hmm. And then, like, maybe like a little, like, huh? Like he's, like, listening to this bomb about to go off, and then he runs. Just something more punchy. It's not bad by any means, though. It gets the point across. I just think, considering the character, it could have had some better choices in the action shots. But still a really nice end screen. I'm still not going to get them over, though, that they were like, yes, let's make his whole powers magenta colored. I guess maybe they felt red was too Dracula or too aggressive or something, because there are a lot of characters that have red. So it does get a little, like, when you put all of them together, it does get a little bit of, like, who gets to have the key red color? You know, who's, you know... before you start running out of characters, you can use the color and still maintain distinction, especially in a, you know, like a all-out brawl kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
year 1.
Oh, I like the addition of the like robot goon guys. Oh, that's an interesting framing for the end. Because he's kind of fast.
I like the physicality of what he's doing to the goons.
Yeah, and like the kind of blackout at the end makes it feel like, you know, like are we from their perspective of them getting like punched so hard that they barely see the guy? You know, like you're fading in and out of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks tired in the end too. Like he's, you know, there is a nice physicality to it. And they're saving some of the animation too, because they're having those like blackout cuts, the fade outs, so they don't have to do as much. You know, they don't have to show that animation of that punch hitting, because, you know, they don't have to show the hit, the reaction, the character falling down. They just kind of fade it out. Like, it's really effective. That's an effective use of using your framing to suggest some animation while still being economical, because every bit of animation costs so much money because it's a medium of time. You can't have movement and animation without the concept of time. And time is money in animation, so to be clever and still have that physicality is pretty cool.
My favorite part of this one is that.
There you go,
when he lands on him on the wall sideways.
Yeah, like there's a very good physicality to it too. And it's kind of sexy by the end. He like, The color grading is pretty fun too, because I like how we have this intense yellow to open up with. Like it's kind of like, you know, almost gross yellow. Mm-hmm. But the yellow is still there in this end, but they tone it down a notch, so then the red over here is like bright. It's kind of warm, but it's dangerous. And this is like using a colorful color scheme. It's not realistic at all or anything, and it's basically just there's a little bit of blue here and there, but it's basically a primary color scheme, more or less. But I like using, I'm a sucker for using big fields of color. Because they could have did like a, you know, it's all white or dim or gray, but I think using the yellow just suggests like a really sick place to be. Like, this has the feeling of an apartment complex, especially with like the tiling on the floor. But then it kind of shows like things are going wrong. There's like officers and bullshit happening, you know. So it makes it feel very like, you know, the wrong end of town kind of feel. You know, and the yellow just kind of says that this is a gross place that you wouldn't want to live if you had a choice. So yeah, it's like a nice way to do like a lot of little quick storytelling and a feeling of a setting without, you know, going crazy, because there's not a lot of details. It's like hallways, door frames, and pipes, and one shitty like fluorescent light above the door there.
They're not actually having blackouts. It's in the animation. It's just the lights going down.
It could be, because they are flickering. Not that it would affect him, because he doesn't need the light. It almost felt like the end is an elevator, but it's not, because it's it doesn't have an elevator door at the bottom. It's just more tile. But it could be the red, like some places use different lighting on like emergency exits to kind of differentiate this is where you need to go.
Yeah, I had thought it was an elevator too, but you're right.
Yeah, so it's probably just a contrasting light of like this is the stairwell or something. Go this way to exit. Yeah, I like this one a lot.
All right, let's see how you like the 2099 one.
Ooh, using his point of view. Oh, and the point of view of the people he's fighting against, who are like they're also in suits. Ooh, that hit on the back of the head though. That's kind of cool. Like this like momentary sense where there are, hit all of them. Kicks the baton of all things, and then when someone rushes for them, smack them on the back of the head. That is badass as hell. And it's like, at least it's a good closure with these guys. That's a good transition too, because it's like very seamless. Because you do have like some hard cuts, but like that was a nice visual transition. Because he does the view, and then we got the hard cut to the door. And then straight from the point of view of the people going into the room. There's some cool effects too, like when he grabs the baton, there's like this like holographic after effect. So like there's this extra punchiness of it just going like grab. And it's like you get this physical effect that on a more flexible character that you would normally do, like, you know, it's like the squash and stretch, which there is some of that there. But to enhance it with that special effect. Special effect crew had so much fun on this one. for real. Also, I like the color change too from the point of view of the masked characters, because it is pretty blue throughout, but then that all monochromatic viewpoint. This one is just really cool, and in a lot of levels, framing wise, color wise, action wise. This is satisfying to watch. Can we have the rest of the series? Oh, I think there's like a door too that's like exit point. That's funny, actually. It's a really little funny detail on the end of the illustrated end card. It's like, yeah, I just kicked your ass, here's the exit. Right?
So wait, if he's in this room with these guys on the other side of the door, how do you get up above to then drop down through the ceiling? Like, what's the internal logic of this sequence of events? Like, watch this. Yeah. He's sitting in front of the hole. He sees them about to breach. He's gone. Somehow he comes through the ceiling. Did he go up outside the hole, maybe?
It's possible. Because, yeah, the viewpoint is definitely from looking through the door. And then he just kind of disappears. I'm presuming this might also be some kind of abandoned building, because it already has a hole, but when he's standing there in the whole side of the building. And it could be a thing like maybe like we don't know the story because there is no story, but like, you know, it could be that he's being chased by these guys, blows a hole out of the door, being like, you know, pretending he's left, and then he just pops in through the ceiling as a surprise attack.
The ceiling also opens to the sky, so they're on the top floor. So he could have gone out the wall hole and just gone up onto the roof.
Yeah, like see, he sees like, oh, they're chasing me, and they're like, oh, where is he? Oh, the ceiling! Whoa! You know, bam, bam, kick, gets the third guy. This guy rushes with no weapon, by the way.
You'd think that he would have come down on top of them rather than like 20 feet away from them within their line of fire.
But then if he did that, he couldn't do this sick kickflip. He was been practicing all day.
Fair enough. All right, one more.
I mean, I think this just kind of falls into rule of cool just a little bit, you know?
Just a smidge.
Because this one's supposed to be like working for Alchemex too, right?
No, fighting against him, I think.
Oh, I thought it was. Well, maybe. Oh, they're the Alchemex agents, and the blurb is from their perspective. I got it now.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell sometimes, so they don't usually put an author for the blurb all the time. So sometimes you're reading it and you're not sure if it's a narrator or a dialogue from the character, which it sometimes is, or a dialogue from a NPC or other person around the character.
Well, now you've got me wondering. Let's see. What's the blurb here? Unregistered superhuman in the vicinity. Yeah, they're talking about him.
Yeah. Alright, is that the last one?
Nope.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. This will be ting ting tingling, jing jing jingling. I'm not Daredevil, here I am in the party too. There's like an explosion when he comes in.
He hits the fireplace gunk.
Oh, he's coming in through the fireplace.
Yep.
I think they should have shown the fireplace, even if it was just a bunch of soot coming out of it, and then like pan to this screen, because I didn't pick that up at first.
Yeah.
Or at least the shot of going into the chimney, maybe like just a shoo, point of view shot. Because it smash cuts so quickly, I don't actually see the fireplace.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to be inclusive for people who don't have fireplaces. But yeah, it took me a minute. It didn't take me a minute. You explained it to me. It was explained to me that there was a fireplace involved.
Yeah, you see the chimney right there before he goes up.
Yeah, but it's really
It's
quick.
really fast, yeah.
And it's not even enough time to register like silhouette of chimney, you know? It's like if you didn't register it right away, it was a little confusing. I like the end pose though. It's really festive and funny and cute. Like, and they make his batons into the cane. Because it's like candy cane, but also sightseeing cane.
Mm-hmm. Which is what he's the famous panel is this pose.
Oh yeah, that's great. I like the reference though. It's really fun. And the model is really, really nice too. I still really like the detail of the horns are lit, but they're not synced, like a real crappy, cheap, Halloween decoration would be, where they're like, bloop, bloop, But yeah, usually most of the festive skins have been really cute, and the designs of them have been really fun, like the Halloween and the Christmas ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they should let the devs have their day and continue making New Year's skins. I really like them. Were there any new ones for this year?
No.
Oh no! This year of the horse! It would have been so fun!
Yeah. They did rerun the Star-Lord, Iron Fist, and Black Widow New Year skins, but they didn't have any new ones.
No. At least give them one.
Yeah.
I mean, one a year would just be like a total of 12 after 12 years. It would take forever, but it'd be fun.
One of the problems with this game's reception is that in Asia, it's a flop. Like, nobody plays it in the Asian player base. The Chinese player base is minuscule, the Japanese player base is minuscule, the various Asian stuff. It's pretty much Europe and English-speaking countries.
That's fascinating. And I know they can't succeed in every market, but I do know they have like Japan had that whole series of like anime adaptations, which in my opinion weren't fantastic. They weren't terrible, but I've watched a few episodes and just couldn't quite really jump into them because they were a little long-winded for my taste. But they did exist. There was one for Iron Man, I think, and there's an even older Batman manga from like long-running Batman manga from a couple decades ago, I think, or somewhere around there. So I'm surprised it doesn't have as much pull as you would think, but I guess it's also fair enough because a lot of the superheroes are very more like Western centric, and it's just they already have their media. They already have manga established as a thing, where you know, it's in comic books and with film adaptations. Whereas we have the comic books, but they're not as big as the media adaptations of these characters by like a long shot. It's only the true blue fans that really get into the comics, and God bless them. Because really my only beef with like the comics is I like to read a story and it has a start and an end, and it's, you know, easy to get into, and most manga are like that, even the ones with bajillion spin-offs, because they'll be like
you can start reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure at issue 1 and continue reading up through the 8th JoJo or whatever, and it'll be a bunch of start and end stories.
And it's not hard to figure out where to start, because you're just like, oh, where do I start? And they're like, well, there's JoJo, and then there's like a spin-off with a different title and another spin-off with a different title. And they're like, okay, that's only like 3 or 4. Even the really major ones, like Kamen Rider, like, if you wanted to start with that, I went back and I started reading the original run of Kamen Rider, and it's like, if I wanted to read a different run, it's not hard to figure out which run that is.
Wait, Kamen Rider's a manga? I thought it was just a show.
Yeah, it has a manga.
Huh. Interesting.
I want to say it was by the same person who did Cyborg 009.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, it was a manga. And there's like that's like one of like the like big media powerhouse too. So there's like a bajillion versions of Kamen Rider, especially since it's been going on since like the 60s or 70s, somewhere around there. And so I read some of the original of that, and it's fun and goofy and silly and stupid in the best way that a lot of our comic books are, but from the early days when almost anything goes. But it can also be, there's like, you know, different versions too. Like there's very serious versions of the, you know, the Marvel characters, and there's very goofy versions of the Marvel characters. I think it's best if there's a range, but that's why I think the media is more accessible to the random person, because they're just like, oh, where should I start with Spider-Man? And they're like, oh, watch this trilogy of 3 movies, or watch this version of 3 movies, or watch, you know, or watch this cartoon series. And it has not a lot of tie-ins. There's been some that have a few tie-ins, but it's not hard to figure them out. Whereas like some of the at one point they got so interested in making all these tie-ins that some of the runs for these comics are like hell to find the whole arc, because they're like, oh, please go read this other run for a different superhero to figure out why they're here now. And like that's not as much of a problem in Japanese manga, because I don't think cameos are not as prevalent, and if they are, they're their own run. So it's just, I think if we could figure that out, I think the comics here could take off big, because I know young adult is huge right now, and I think there's an older generation of adults who want to read comic books. But until we can make it more accessible and I think easier to like pick up on stuff, it's gonna be pretty tough.
Yeah.
And these are kind of like you know, like big conglomerate of a lot of characters now in Marvel, so I don't know what I would do, but I feel like if it was me, I'd be like, okay, let's do like a main run where like all the stuff is happening with all the characters, and then maybe we'll have like some shorter runs of like, you know, this is the Daredevil comic or something, you know.
There was an attempt at making that in the early 2000s, the Ultimate Universe. And they put out Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four, and the Ultimates, which was their version of the Avengers. The only good thing in the entire Ultimate Universe was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough because they've tried to reboot so many characters so many times, and like some of them need it and some of them don't, and it just gets really I don't know. It's like one thing's like there's no right way to do it that would please everybody, and it's just like I don't know, how do you get people into the American comic book system when it's like. I've thought about reading classic though, because I wanted to read like stuff from the 60s and 70s, like some of the original runs for Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. I think that would be pretty interesting just to see where it all started. But I wouldn't even know what to start with nowadays if I went to go pick something out. At best, usually if I do get into reading anything, I read like a trade collection. And we're not really into doing that because they try to see if they sell first before they make trades, and then by the time they make a trade they decide if they're going to cancel the series or not.
Yeah.
So it's just like kind of pointless at that point. It's just like, oh, we did a thing but then we canceled it.
Oh, you know what frustrates me? Because of Ken Pender's whole interaction with the Archie Sonic comics, we're never going to get a trade paperback collection of the whole thing. Like, it's just not going to happen. And that was a big part of my childhood and my early internet presence. So that makes me very sad, even though the quality of a lot of Archie Sonic is not very high.
Yeah, but it's like one of those ones that's been around. It was just around. You can't say no to the classics.
Yeah.
I think the other reason, too, is like... manga's thing is like they have like a magazine with all the series in them. So if you wanted to read like Dragon Ball, you would buy, like when it came out, you'd buy the magazine and you could read Dragon Ball plus like all the other ones at the same time.
Yeah. And
they came with color pages, so you're a little bit motivated to go get it, so you might get the cool color page, and they were bigger size than the collection.
Yeah, that's actually, I hear Weekly Shonen Jump is running into a problem because it's got One Piece and a couple flagships that have either just ended or are ending, and a whole bunch of schlock that nobody's reading.
Yeah, like usually the idea is you get at least like 2 or 3 that people want to read so you can keep the thing going.
Yeah.
But it is a way to keep money going but while you and pay your artists while you get to the point where you can collect them, and then you can make lots of money on the trades. But, maybe there needs to be a modern version of that, because I know some people are getting into more, like, subscription services. So you subscribe to, like, Shonen Jump online, and then you can just read, like, when it comes out online. And some people are doing it that way, but... And actually, Marvel has a similar subscription service, and you can read, like, almost everything. I almost got into it to read Venom comics.
Yeah, Marvel Unlimited. I did the free trial last year to get a Thing skin, and then I ended the free trial without paying a cent or having read any comic books.
Wow. You're just like, free skin, free skin.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a hard thing to figure out what's the best way to do it.
Did it require you to actually pay to get it? There was some timing thing where you had to keep the sub past a certain point, and then you got the skin, but I think it might have been before the free trial ended.
Yeah, but in any case, I just really like comics, and I want like more ways for them to succeed, because I love seeing like what happens in Japan sometimes, where they have like the whole bullet train is covered with like anime characters for some kind of tie-in or something, and I just think like, dang, it'd be really cool if we cared as much for art in that way, that common entertainment could be just decoration on your way to work.
I know, right? And it's not like these characters are uninteresting. The MCU proves people love them. The constant barrage of Marvel toys and stuff proves that people love them. Just having them out and about in the world would be cool.
Yeah, like, I remember when the first run of the Spider-Man movies came out, and someone was enough of a fan that they convinced the movie theater to let them be on the roof in costume dressed as Spider-Man. And it's still one of, like, the formative memories, because it was so cool!
Nice.
And we're just in a little town, so it was clearly just someone who really was a super fan. I think I just recently rebought those movies because I was thinking all the ones I have, I still had like the cut-off versions because the early DVD era wasn't always friendly.
It was in 4:3.
Yeah, it was in 4:3. Anyway, I think I went off on a tangent, but like comics, hooray!
Hell yeah. All right, so which of these 5 is your favorite?
My favorite was the 2099 version. It was so cool.
It is pretty cool.
Like, kicking the baton. Like, seriously, if I saw that in the movie, I'd lose my shit. And I love the holographic effects too.
Yeah, this one's very cool.
I hope like if they make new media, they could let him be this colorful in like a actual series or something. Because like the way the effects hit are so cool.
All right, well, if that's your favorite MVP, is that your favorite costume too?
It is.
It is? I figured it might be.
It's like, don't be mad, but it's cool.
I mean, why would I be mad? I'm not... I think the Christmas one is funny, but I'm not super attached to any of these.
Because, like, I just like that he just looks like a living motorcycle. Full of menace. It's also, like, it's really pretty fun, it's a pretty fun iteration of the character, too, because it's supposed to be future-y, but still Daredevil. Mm-hmm. And I think adding all the motorcycle-like elements and the kind of the Kamen Rider thing really does fit with the theme of, like, he's a cool Daredevil, and, you know, and making it future.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of like the Galactus skin, only because I really like the coloring of the cyan on the armor.
And also it gets points because it's a contrast to the other terrible Galactus skins.
Yeah. But I kind of wish we had just a straight red costume, honestly. I think he should have one in the future. Or if you know, they should think about it, because I think it would look really good.
Yeah, we'll probably get a classic Daredevil at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he just looks good in red. What can I say?
Yeah.
And like the other default looks pretty good too, but it just needs to me. I want it to be red.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I found it kind of interesting that it's not, because even if it is supposed to be like he's like of the heavenly cities, you know, protector or enforcer, or not sure which. I still feel like the way red is used in Chinese culture, like, he should just be red.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but as far as style points and just the design, that one's just really nice.
It's cool.
It's actually pretty nicely distinct from a lot of their other mechanical designs too. Like, I feel like the pieces are kind of bigger and chunkier. There's a nice division of the shapes. It's still in style with what they've done already, but I just feel like this is, like, if you put a lineup, it's just like, this one's pretty nice. I think the holographic elements are just really fun too. They're not overused. They're in just the right spots to be like really cool accents to the whole outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Also contributing to the kind of the motorcycle look, because they're kind of like the windshields. But I think the spinal design is like really cool on the back. That's a kind of a lighter color too, because all the other colors are pretty intense except for the black. And so this is like going light with the outline and white almost. And then everything else is kind of like a pastel holographic, fading it out. Goes from cold to warm, so it's kind of like flipped from the warm parts of the armor. It has the cool colors next to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's just real nice.
It's very cool. All right, well, that's Daredevil. So up next is going to be a very, very short episode that we'll probably be able to knock out in like half an hour, because White Fox only has the base costume, 2 recolors, and her shop skin. And we would normally save this for later, but she and Daredevil are being done out of order because they are the only remaining members of the 2026 swimsuit set that we haven't looked at. So we're going to look at White Fox next time, which will probably take us like half an hour.
Woohoo!
And then later this summer, before they all leave the store, we're going to look at all 10 swimsuit skins in one video.
It'll be the summer edition.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Bye.
Now you can mess with me.
Okay. YouTube.
Testing.
Oh yeah, currently we're testing or something or other.
Testing.
But if right now I'm just getting him.
Stop.